Hi everyone, it's Zero Witzer here. In this video, I will show you 5 most interesting things I have noticed in Silent Hill F. As you know, almost everything in the Silent Hill franchise is pretty much intentional, whether they choose to leave it out or choose to display it on full. So, let's get started. As you progress through the story, you will realize that Hinako's uniform will show a lot of signs of wear and tear. There is blood, there is dirt, and most of all, her back is laid bare for you, the audience, to see, right? And from this point of view, what really stood out to me was that Hinako is actually missing a bra. And as we know, almost everything in the Silent Hill franchise is pretty much intentional, whether they choose to leave it out for a reason or they choose to include it for a reason as well. So, I can come up with a few possible reasons why they decided not to include a bra on Hinako. Alright, reason number 1. Maybe bras weren't as common in 1960s Japan. Even though Wacoal, which is the leading Japanese bra manufacturer, was founded in 1946, bras didn't really become widespread or popular until the 1960s, especially in rural or outskirt towns like the one Hinako lives in. However, it is worth noting that Hinako doesn't wear breast binding wraps either. Alright, reason number 2. It could be a symbol of rejection of womanhood. If bras do exist in the world of Silent Hill F and Hinako chooses not to wear one, it could symbolize a rejection of womanhood. After all, a bra is one of the first garments many girls associate with becoming a woman. Choosing not to wear one might represent a refusal to accept that transition. Or simply, it could be a rejection of societal expectations regarding on how a woman should dress. Much like women in the past were expected to wear a corset, bras are pretty much the same thing, right? A third reason, it could be that the developers think showing a bra band on Hinako's back could be very distracting for the players.
Huh?
So, I've listed out 3 reasons. If you have more, let me know down in the comments below. I'll be happy to read them. Now that we're done talking about the missing bra on Hinako's back, we can finally move on to the next item. And the next item that I want to show you guys is actually this comb. The red comb. I have seen this item often enough that I had to talk about it. I'll discuss the importance of the comb from 2 different perspectives, and then maybe you'll let me know which one fits the Silent Hill F lore better. The first perspective is the Chinese culture's perspective. I grew up in a Cantonese family, so I've seen red combs in wedding ceremonies. So what do they mean? What do they represent? Red combs are typically used in a wedding ritual known as the hair combing ceremony. This ceremony is performed the night before the wedding, usually by the bride's parents or an auspicious woman, someone who considered to bring good fortune. It is a ritual meant to bestow blessings onto the newlyweds' future. The bride's hair is combed in 3 strokes, with each stroke accompanied by a blessing. The version I'm familiar with includes 3 verses, but some versions include 4 depending on the region or the family traditions. So, the first comb, Yat So Tome, if you want to direct translate it, it means first comb comb till the end, meaning may your marriage last a lifetime. Second combing, 一扫白发才美. And if you direct translate it, it means second comb, white hair, eyebrows. I know, it's direct translation. It's a little bit weird, but what it meant is that may you be blessed with happy marriage until old age. And the third combing, 三扫宜訓滿地. The direct translation of it is grandkids full house, meaning may you be blessed with many children and grandchildren. I think it's a sweet thing. I really love it. And the second perspective is from the Japanese culture, specifically regarding hair. There is a saying, a woman's hair is her life. I will put up the quote up here because I don't know how to pronounce it, but you guys understand, right? Which reflects the belief that hair symbolizes a woman's identity and status in society. The longer the hair, the higher the status. It implies that she has the resources, such as maidens, to comb, style, and care for the hair. As a result, hair ornaments became more popular than other types of accessories. One such ornament is the kushi. I hope that I'm saying it right, but if I don't, please don't hate me. I'm trying my best. I do love the Silent Hill F lore. I just love these things, alright? So kushi, which functions both as a comb and a decorative hairpiece. In fact, the kushi can be an heirloom passed down through generations and may, in some cases, serve as a kind of a family emblem. The kushi is also seen as a sacred object because of its intimate connection to self. As it brushes through hair, each strand is believed to imbue the comb with spiritual energy. So, for this very reason, it is very important to give a worn or broken comb a ceremonial send-off rather than simply discarding them away. And here's an interesting fact. According to legend, the god Omononushi once took form of a snake and hid inside a woman's comb case. To honor him, I might be saying this wrong, but please, just I'm trying my best. A kushizuka, a burial mound for combs, was erected at Yasui Gompiragu Shrine in September 1961. Since then, combs have been offered at this shrine during the annual Kushi Matsuri, which is the comb festival. So, what do you think the red comb represents in the world of Silent Hill F? Alright, let's move on to our third point. Ever notice that there's only beer in the Shimizu residence and not a single bottle of sake in sight? For a town that is so deeply rooted in tradition, the presence of beer really stood out to me. Maybe beer is all Hinako's father can afford, since the family is broke. Or maybe it is a long-lasting after effect of the rice restrictions during World War II, which took place in 1939 to 1945, which significantly reduced sake production. Also, let's take a look at this document. The doctor mentioned of a ban on a production of Doburoku. While it is now illegal to produce the cloudy rice wine known as Doburoku, people across Japan were once free to make it as they needed. Turns out that the licensed sake breweries were a major source of tax revenue, and by banning home production of Doburoku, the government effectively secured its income through the Liquor Tax Act. And that would kind of explain the presence of beer and the absence of sake in the Shimizu residence. While I think beer and sake represents a clash between modern and tradition, there are also several other examples of this tension throughout the story. For starters, Hinako's mother mentions that she prefers traditional medicine over modern drugs, saying that it gives her more relief and assurance, while the local doctor stresses the urgent need to educate the townspeople about modern medical practices. Also, the blonde Western style doll that Hinako owns kind of like contrasts sharply with the traditional Japanese doll found in Rinko's room. So we got blonde hair, blue eyes, red dress, and then we have black hair, black eyes, and kimono. And this visual contrast really reinforces the theme of the clash between modern versus tradition. Alright, everyone, time for our fourth point. And let me bring out the all-time favorite character. May I present Rinko? They say first impressions are important, and let me emphasize the way how we perceive Rinko is very much intentional. Her behavior, her mannerism, her display of emotion towards us and Shu is as obvious as daylight. Everyone has, at some point in their life, interacted with someone like Rinko, and that kind of interaction can feel like an uncontrolled fire. She is charismatic, luring you in like a moth to a flame, offering you comfort of warmth and affection, but also capable of letting you feel the burn, then the warmth. As such, her jealousy towards Hinako can also be seen as fire-consuming and destructive, eating away at their friendship. And you can see it from here. I suppose love can tear apart even the closest of friends. I don't know what to do. Now, let's take a look at this scene. Notice how calm and poised Rinko appears inside the cage, suspended over a lake of fire. Compared to Sakuko, who is on the verge of a meltdown despite being in a lit room, Rinko seems too composed, even regal. But as the game progresses, you lower Rinko's cage, watching her descend slowly towards the flames, consumed in the end by the very fire that once fueled her jealousy and hatred towards Hinako. This is probably the most glaring visual to me, seeing Junko and Hinako in bright form with scars on their necks. At first I thought the neck scars were exclusive to those two characters, but this scene shows otherwise. All the women on the left side have scars on their necks, wear full masks and have grey colored skin, while the men on the right side have no scars, wear half-face masks and have flesh-toned skin. The proximity of scars to the vocal cords could indicate how a woman loses her voice the moment she enters into marriage. Just like when Hinako transformed into her bright form, she becomes non-verbal. Oh wait, Zero. Junko also has the neck scars, but she's able to speak. Well, if you look at the early depiction of Junko from Hinako's memories, Junko is somewhat a guardian to Hinako. She is one of the prettiest and kindest people I know. I can rely on her for anything. But in this scene where she wears a mask and has the neck scars, she talks about killing Hinako herself if she hadn't dealt with Shimizu Hinako, who seeks freedom and independence. To me, that doesn't sound like the Junko we knew from the beginning. Perhaps Junko's speech is being controlled by someone else? The N, I think the neck scar is a symbol of losing one's power to speak out for themselves. This is further strengthened by the design of the mask as well. A full mask hides the person's face, erasing their identity. What you see is not who they are, but who they represent. In this society, identity is not defined, it is assigned. For example, the woman on the left belonged to the Fox clan, the full mask bearing the sleek, cunning features of the fox. Junko, though married into a different house, now wears the Owl clan mask, signifying her allegiance. This visual is a reflection of society norms. A married woman does not speak for herself. She exists as a vessel of the family she married into, a present, but not a voice. The full mask is not only a concealment, but also confinement. It declares you are no longer your own. In contrast, the man on the right wears half-face mask. The eyes may be hidden, but the mouth remain uncovered. This detail is deliberate and even ritualistic to a point. It signifies their power to speak, to decide, to shape the clan's future through words and negotiation. Mask, therefore, becomes more than just a cultural artifact. It is a hierarchy made visible. The full mask silence, the half mask empowers. One erases identity in favor of obedience. The other conceals emotion while preserving authority. If any of you have ever taken an art class, you know that reducing saturation of a color involves adding gray. This concept also applies in digital space, where adjusting the saturation slider toward one extreme eventually results in a gray image. In both cases, the color loses its identity. You can no longer tell what its original hue was, as everything fades into a muted tone. Junko here, and the line of woman that we have previously seen have muted tones. So, what does that mean? It means that they have a subdued presence. Someone who is there, but not fully seen or acknowledged. Alright, that's all I got for you guys. So, what do you think about the 5 interesting things that I've highlighted? Let me know down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!